Right, that's pretty close. Finally found fucking Enduro, and I was thinking, well, this is a bootleg video because you're going to get things walking in front of the camera. Because I've got many cats, we've had those jokes, they've all been done. Oof, maybe last week. I do quite a few of these videos and I do them in bulk. That's the best way. Cheese balls. You're not a loser, you can't have any. So, made another roll up. Thought I'd get that in there. Told you not to smoke many times. Do not smoke, never smoke. Don't ever start. We've actually reviewed this game. I've told you I didn't have this game, would have loved this game back then. My cat wants to join in, and this is going to happen, so you're going to get noises, shadows, blockage of the camera view, shit quality camera, and the whole thing's going to be unedited because I can't find a video editor that will actually output at 50 frames with the MOV files that this camera creates when recording fucking videos. So, bit fucked all round. So basically it's called the bootleg years because it's like one of those, pirate videos that we all saw. You know, I'm sure everyone's seen at least once if you had a video recorded that early. So, look at that, man. Now that's just, this is 1983 we're talking about. It's in, within the limitations of the VCS. Stylistically, it's in a completely different category to Commodore's Le Mans ripoff, which is a ripoff of Monaco by Sega, the vertically scrolling top-down racing game type thing. Avoid 'em up. Sort of like Spy Hunter, but with no guns or weapons or gadgets of any kind. So yes, it's worse than Spy Hunter. But anyway, all of these videos are basically going to be this kind of rubbish. No, this is probably the worst quality because filming after dark with the light bulb switched on or off really affects the quality of the video for this camera. So yes, I apologise in advance, they're going to be shit quality. So I've been honest, failed channel, whatever, and the bootleg years, that's what this series is going to be called. So I'm glad we're all set on this, and yeah, so I'm doing this video. It's basically me playing some of these games, some that I had, and if I did have them they would have been at the time or within a year of their release, something like that. Unlike the C64, which I did go back to, I never really left, even though I got a really early ST, Atari ST, without the built-in disk drive. I didn't get a monitor or anything with that. An external Atari disk drive and that 520 ST, not the ST FM ones. It was great in some ways, but yeah, well, didn't have a SID chip. People hadn't cracked smooth scrolling. Some of the games were really rubbish, sort of like 1983 arcade game kind of graphics. Terrible. Way below what the ST was capable of, and I knew it was way below, which really annoyed me. So that was the thing with the ST. You know, some games for the Amiga did come out early on and they made you think, yeah, that's really got potential. I'm glad I conned my GP doctor into selling me his Amiga 1000, because he was saying he's going to get the new, more powerful, doing the air quotes as I say that, Amiga 500. And I kept a straight face. I said to him, okay. I said to him, what are you going to do with your Amiga 1000, which I actually wanted as soon as they came out, May 1986, for the PAL version here. And it was like, no, I couldn't afford that sort of money. That was half of all the money I'd ever saved up in my life, and I was working then, so. Yeah, well, part-time. If life is too short to be spent working, that's another thing, mate. There's no point dying a millionaire if you've had to work for it. Not that most millionaires probably do. Yeah, it's probably like a massive pyramid scheme for all of them. Allegedly. That's what I heard, not necessarily my opinion. You should check out all the facts on any subject I discuss. Welcome to 2019. But yeah, I mean, and we're doing this video now because who doesn't like a video when you're driving and talking about, you know, shit, basically, any old shit. But in my case it has to be related, you know, at least to vintage gaming. A generation that started with a VCS and I would say ended with home computers, the Archimedes or Amiga 1200. Fuck the CD32, hideous fucking machine. And compromised on CPU speed. You can go and research that. I'm not having that argument again. So yes, so we're having a driving video. In my kind of driving video. Look, I mean, it is like a driving video. In fact, I've just had a fantastic idea I could do with this footage to make it a real driving video. But actually, I'm not sure. No, I'll just run it in reverse. I'll just download something that reverses a video, plays it backwards, keep the same sound. You won't notice a difference, not on this demo mode. That'd be really funny. I'd have to put a bit of, I don't know, how would I get rid of that fucking, oh actually once I got it in reverse, seeing as the car never moves on the demo, never moves anyway when you play it, everything else moves, you stay in the same position. So that would be actually quite cool, especially in that, yes, in that thing. Yeah, nah, I think I'm going to do that. So fuck me, these videos could be delayed a year. Garage is the last thing that needs to be finished and started actually. Ooh. In fact, the garage probably needs demolishing and then building and then finishing, and then I could do this thing that I'm going to do with this footage in a real car. It's actually really easy to do, won't cost you much money. Especially if you had a mate with a cool car to do it. So most expensive thing would be a short throw projector. They only make HD ones and they're really expensive. And the ones that I've seen for sale, they're never the same generation as the long throw projectors. And if you have a short throw projector, it just means you get double the image size from this, you know, putting the projector the same distance from the wall. Yeah, that's interesting actually. But yeah, this footage could be really useful, so yeah, I might have to save this as a subscriber special now. Oh well, that's I hope you all weren't too shocked when I started doing these videos. And yeah, so basically the VCS to, you know, things like, I'm gonna have a cut off with the SNES, because that came out after the Mega Drive. Because the next big thing, and I stress the bigness, after that is the anticipated Sega Saturn. The anticipated, although never mentioned at the time of the Sega Saturn rumours, Nintendo next generation console. Nintendo have never been interested in doing a console that is technically, you know, quite sophisticated, because that costs them money. Their core demographic, which they proved quite successfully, is well, probably my age when I got a VCS, so that's quite young. So yeah, that's when homework was. I had a VCS probably, I think probably a year before homework really became a thing. And then that was a shock. I was like, no, I can't play Defender in 1981. I've got too much homework to do. So yeah, so that was a thing. I never had the C64 out all the time. The first year I used it, school days, so that's Monday to Friday, and any time I'm supposed to be doing my homework at the weekend, had to be completely devoid of any kind of gaming console or computer or anything. You know, obviously they didn't take them away, but you know, my desk was so small that I had a little telly on. If you had the Commodore 64 and the tape deck on there was actually no other space left anyway. So I can see their point, because if they're out all the time on a school day, it means I'm not doing my homework. But if I've done my homework after coming home from school, then I can, you know, unpack it. But I'd have to pack it back up, so I couldn't get to level 5 of Manic Miner just before I'm supposed to go to sleep on a school day and leave the bloody C64 on, even though it'd probably blow up by the time I get home from school the next day, or the power supply anyway, and carry on and try and, you know, beat it. But I don't think there was a pause button on that. Yeah, it'd have to be a game where it says, you know, press 5 to continue. But you get the idea. Yeah, so the first year I had the C64, it had to be in the box on the school days. I couldn't just leave it laying around. If I was going to use it, I'd use it, and then I'd have to put it straight back. So the weekends were a real treat, because Friday after I come home from school, straight up to my room probably, get changed, because your school uniform, you know, you've got to go in the laundry bin, bang, and you know, straight to your room, set up the C64, start it loading, whatever it is you want to play. Wow, that's flickering. I wonder if deinterlacing this. Oh, and that was the other thing. If I didn't want to convert the files to a different format, the MOV files this camera takes, simply because they're already horrendous quality and they're huge in file size, 2 gig for like a 1 hour video, which is the maximum length of video it can record. So I know Blair Witch Project 1 take projects are possible on this. It's really not for people that interested in video. It will do it, does the bare minimum, even the built-in modes. And recording this screen, well, you can see the footage and you get a lot of flicker as well, especially on games that multiplex sprites like this does. So, you know, there's not much I can do about it. The microphone is horrible on it. So if I start converting it to like MP4, then the footage is going to be even more shit. It's going to be fucked actually. And yeah, no, I didn't want to do that. So they're going to be as is. So that's why I'm talking bullshit now. And that also keeps the sound volume balancing bit out of the equation, so I don't think I'm going to play any of the other games. But I was thinking, after I'd played Indy 500, which was after I'd played Enduro, quite a few days after, I wondered if anyone had hacked Enduro so you can use the driving controllers from the Indy 500 game, because that was really good. It's like a mini version of what it would be like to drive with the Coleco turbo expansion. Yeah, turbo because the arcade game turbo, it doesn't turbocharge your Coleco. No, the graphics are still a bit shit actually. But yeah, I used to play that on the steering wheel and it kind of reminded me of that. There's that sort of, you know, it's well made, but it is well made out of plastic. It's not like an arcade game like Sprint, which has got metal steering wheels. They're almost like the steering wheels off a Mini. I think they're Mini light wheels. I don't know. But yeah. So this is, like I say, it's a really good game. And this would actually be quite hard to program in BASIC on the C64, which is not a problem some of the early VCS games have actually. So, you know, it's, I don't know if this came out before or after Pole Position. I really didn't have any need for these kind of games by the time they'd come out in 1983, because I knew the VCS wouldn't really be able to do them that well graphically. And let's face it, back then you just wanted everything to get better until it was arcade quality. And obviously home computers were always a generation behind. You know, I can't think of a 1984 arcade game that the Amiga expertly programmed, because it is as hard to get the maximum out of an Amiga as bloody Sega Saturn. It's a fucking nightmare, mate, especially in machine code, which is what they had to do to make Sega Rally on the Saturn so bloody great. And I forgot what I was talking about. So yeah, this game would be very hard to do in BASIC on the C64. Be very hard to do in machine code unless you're quite good at machine code. Oh, we got a visitor. Devon is here now. Although, no, hang on, it's not Devon. It's Simba. No, mate. He is you, isn't he? You got the extra large mutton chops, like that Doctor at Sea movie, and yeah, that guy with the white beard, mutton chop beard. Google it. It's very traditional British, ancient beard style that was popular. Probably come back with the millennials. Who knows, mate? I can't be bothered to see what they're doing. Well, so yeah, by that sort of time, I wouldn't really be looking to get driving games on the VCS for 30 quid when I had a C64. And you know, tape games were, I think they were, I don't know if £7 was the cheapest full price game I ever got, because I got a C64 really early in the UK. I think it's November the 21st when the C64 actually arrived to the retailers that had ordered them. That's when the first deliveries went out from, you know, on the trucks. So they would have got there. I did a whole thing about that. It's on some forum somewhere. I think Lemon 64, I think. Yeah, but I couldn't find it anyway, so I did post it on, I think it's RVG, Retro Video Gamers or something, I don't know. There was another multi-format one. I posted it in there too, attached pictures which are all gone, pictures of the scans. Look, my cat's playing Atari as well. I can't remember why it does this. Do you have to stop at fuel? I mean, how do you stop at the fuel? Or is it literally, if you keep bumping into things, you're going to get shafted? Yeah, see, he was doing well. Or is it damage to the car? I don't know if it's time limit or damage to the car, because I'm pretty shit whenever I play this. See, I barely made up any places and I've added damage, so yeah, that's really good, that is. Hello mate, what are you playing then? Hey, what's that one there then, eh? Demon Attack. Yeah, I think I've knackered out the Pro Line joystick on the Atari, so I'm going to have a quick go at Demon Attack. Demon Attack is the Imagic rival release to the officially licensed by Atari Phoenix, I believe, by Century. That was their answer to it. I didn't have this back then. I did have Phoenix on the VCS because I used to play it in the kebab shop up the road. And I actually quite liked Phoenix as a game. This is sort of like mostly the third and fourth levels of Phoenix, pretty much exclusively. And there's no mothership, which, let's face it, man, when you went to school the next morning, you couldn't wait to tell your friend, I got to the mothership last night. I only had one life. I didn't know what I had to do. And then your mate would go, no way, man. And it's like, flipping hell. And that kind of thing. And yeah, it was a big thing. So, and Phoenix is really, really well done for the VCS. I don't think you could ever do a better version. You could do a different version, but I don't think it would ever be better. It's so slick to play. If you plug in a Zipstick or Competition Pro into the VCS and play Phoenix, you'll see how much, you know, the response is like an arcade game. The graphics may not be the same as the arcade, but the actual inputs and update on the screen is they're 50 frames per second, rock solid. a game that I don't really remember Flickr on, so I don't know. But I can't find my copy, so I'm going to have to buy a bloody copy off eBay, for fuck's sake. Now the good thing about your Magic games is you can press fire to start them, so you don't have to lean over like a fucking idiot doing the old builder's arse on the poor observers, as you have to press a button on the console. Fucking hate that. That's the one thing I hated about the VCS. Games where you had to actually go and press game reset to restart the game. I was like, fuck off. Now on the C64 it's a bit different because you're going to have that on a desk. Well, I had mine on a desk anyway. My mate had his on the floor, but he wasn't really interested in programming. But we used to use wicked colour PET-ski graphics. Yeah, PET-ski as opposed to ASCII graphics on our C64s, like you know, when you go to a new location it will draw this new picture. We had like 4 or 8 lines of text on the bottom, something like that. But this is quite good, but without a mothership equivalent to Phoenix, it really doesn't grab you. And the first 2 levels of Phoenix are closer to Galaxian or Galaga than this. So there is a difference. Now, they do split off here, but this seems more like ripping off asteroids, because it's like, you know, same strategy, don't do that, what I've just done, because you get loads of little pieces on the screen that are going to either hit you, because some of them are kamikaze, or shoot you, you see. Don't hit the big ones, even though they're the ones that fucking drop shitloads of bombs on you or whatever they're doing. Yeah, I think I have knackered out the old Proline joystick a bit. Shouldn't have done that, but I had no choice. So when you split them, only one of them fires, but the other one becomes a bloody kamikaze. So yes, why bother doing these videos when I know the quality of every aspect of it is going to be basically, you know, VHS pirate video? Good question. But like the Enduro thing, where I said it would be fantastic if someone had hacked that game to use the driving controllers from ED 500, because they're just great. I don't know how they're made technically, but they feel like stepper motors. There's a definite. What you got to do, like, I think the best thing is if you like get one from each of the pair, and you actually get 3 small ones from 3 big ones. So just keep firing when you hit one of the big ones, and stay away from the one that doesn't drop loads of bombs on you. Oh, what a bastard! Fuck you, man. Like that. So the waves just get bigger and bigger, and nothing really changes. And there's no mothership, but it is a great game. So now I'm glad I got Phoenix. And basically, when I was buying some of them games back then, it was based on you know, what was actually released by the Atari soft catalogues. Was it the Atari Club, something like that? So we have to play Miss Pac-Man. I couldn't find Pac-Man. I've done the whole screw you. So I've done the whole you know, Pac-Man, Is it good, is it shit, who should be fucking talking about it, who should shut the fuck up, millennials. You can't review VCS games unless you lived. You can't review Space Invaders on the VCS unless you lived that time. And I don't mean you were alive, I mean you lived. Either you or someone you knew had a VCS and you played Space Invaders and you knew what your options were. So your options were go to the arcade, which when you're 10 years old, mate, or whatever, you're going to get mugged. So you can't go there. Your parents ain't going to take you to some dingy fucking arcade with fucking ashtrays on the, on the controls. No, the little silver ones, I think, like, they probably nicked them from McDonald's when you used to be able to smoke in McDonald's, late 70s, that kind of thing. Probably saved them up in the staff room, even though it's probably one bastard. But anyway, they were really not nice places to be. You wouldn't go on your own, but even if there was like two of you, what are you going to do, mate? That's where all the, late teens kind of kids used to hang out. So there's that, or you could play something like Earth Invaders, or Galaxy Invader, or Astro Wars. It's the same thing with Pac-Man. What was better, apart from going to the arcade and getting mugged as a little kid in 1980 or 81, whenever that came out? I think it was 1980, in the arcade. Or playing it on the VCS. So there's that, and you can watch that video and put loads of fucking negative comments, whatever, fuck off. But yeah, I just need to record some of these, so when I'm playing these games I have these great ideas, like Enduro played with the most excellent Atari driving controllers on the VCS would be great. I can't think of a game that the Star Raiders video touchpad controller would actually improve a VCS game, another one, but there might be, a game that obviously came out on the in television. If it was designed for that and it came out for the VCS too, it might be less compromised, but that's the point. Now I wouldn't remember that, so I'd never remember that unless I'd watched it again and thought, oh yeah, and now I've mentioned it in another video. But yeah, Miss Pac-Man's actually worse, so to save you watching both videos and getting bored, there's slight issue that the controls on the original Pac-Man on the VCS are actually better. Yeah, I think it's from 1981 on the VCS for the original Pac-Man. Just doesn't feel as smooth to play. The graphics will always flicker because the VCS only has two sprites and one of them has to be your Pac-Man, and if you draw two sprites with one hardware sprite on the same line, well, it can only display one of them, so you have to alternate. And two, I find Pac-Man, it's alright to play once every now and again for a bit, not for a long time. You wouldn't like catch up with your mate and him say to you, oh, I'm really into Miss Pac-Man now, I've been playing it for 5 days, like 10 years after or whatever the arcade had come out, when they find their VCS in the loft when they're moving out maybe. That's just the way it is, mate. Oh fuck. But yeah, both play alright. This one looks a little bit less shit. All they've done is fucking listen to what Todd Fry told them in the first place, the guy who programmed it. He said, look, I can't do this in the minimum size cartridge because I need more memory, so I can write a routine where it doesn't automatically flicker all the sprites. Oh, I missed one there. Oops. I thought I went down that tunnel. And they said, no mate, so to save $1, they fucking screwed you. So, you know, basically the best hack of this is probably this game engine. But with the colours of the original Pac-Man or original VCS Pac-Man. Plus I don't like this because as soon as you eat them, the ghosts come out like the arcade. They don't wait like on the VCS version, which I prefer. But I suppose that's what means once you've mastered the controls on the VCS version and worked a couple of simple things out, I mean, you're basically going to be able to play it for fucking ever until you get bored, sometimes without losing more than one life. No, I shouldn't have gone there. Oops. So yeah, you know, it's less flickery, but you're always going to get a flicker because they can go wherever they want. Oh, fuck, what am I doing? Yeah, I've knackered this Pro 9 out. Yeah, I'm usually worse at this than whatever. I've got to this level though, and I've got no spare life, so I suppose I'm doing really shit if you think about it. Yeah, but you know, Pac-Man is nowhere near the top of my list of favourite games, arcade games of like 1980, 81, etc. or before. It's just not in there, you know. Yeah, you know, the fruit's better. It's better than a big square block. Ooh, you know, it's getting a bit iffy now. Well, I've got quite a few of them bloody things there, innit? Yeah, I think this Pro line is knackered now. That's a shame. I need to go over there without dying. Hang on. No, I've eaten it, have I? Ah, crap. There we go. Yeah, well, we're doing quite well here. Yeah, I didn't get to the next level after this, I don't think. Yeah, so you get a new Pac-Man after... oh man, they do get faster, but you should only eat them as like self-defense, because they come after you. And I preferred that they didn't come after you on the VCS one, because if you've ever used a VCS joystick, you'll know why. They're fucking horrendous. Technically, for the time, there's nothing wrong with them. But for that time, yeah, they weren't exactly a great thing. You can end up losing another life now, because there's just too much to clean up. Crap. And instinctively, I'm not used to the exits changing, so there's that. Ooh, see, I've gone for the points there, and I've still tried to clean up more, and now I'm a bit fucked because I have to go straight to the power pill now. See, I shouldn't have done that. You should only eat the ghosts on this version itself, because look, they're just going to come straight out and give you a heart attack or whatever they fucking do. Yeah, follow that cunt. So yeah, I've done at least 2 more levels than I thought I would. Would have been nice if they did the, you know, the yellow colour of the original. Nah, I don't know. That's nostalgia maybe, but I didn't have this on my VCS. But yeah, you know, My mate had that and I swapped him for Defender, I believe. Or it could have been Empire Strikes Back. Oh, that was a bad idea. Very bad idea. No, I'm actually enjoying playing this. Not as much as if I had Phoenix to play, but then I'd have to find a zip joystick or something. That was a close call enough. See, I'm taking a piss. See, that was a bad move. Yeah, well, that's pretty good. Anyway, that's the end of this because the batteries are now flashing. Oh crap. 41 minutes, fucking hell. And this is the second half.